Whoa. What the heck? I swear, someone touches something. You know what? We'll do it live. We'll fix it. Suzy, was that you?
I know what I did. What did I do?
I don't know. Somebody touched something. Anyway,
I didn't
we are
touch
live
anything
right
this
now. We are live right now. I am your host at the moment, Logan Stone, and welcome to the seventh inning. That's still crap. Oh, Josh, you need a better microphone. Get it fixed.
I'm in my earbuds today.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm your host, Logan Stone, and with me, as always, is Josh Edwards. Like the hemorrhoid cream, Darren is next to me to fix that Josh Edwards problem. Darren, how are you doing?
What's up, guys? How are we doing? Looking forward to talking a little baseball here. A couple new guests here on the network. Division rivals, but I guess we can figure out a way to get through this podcast together. So looking forward to it.
There are no rivals here in baseball.
Oh, there's rivals, man. There's always rivals.
We're all friends. We sing Kumbaya. We're all servers of the Lord Jesus Christ. Speaking of rivals / best friends.
We can say that the Athletics are our daddies. Like, that is okay. Like, we as Astros fans are aware of this fact. Okay, like we know.
Serenity
we know.
Now.
Do you regret trading Tony Kemp to the Athletics now that he's a stud?
I forgot who
I
it was.
love Tony Kemp.
I love Tony Kemp too.
I fucking love Tony Kemp.
Tony Kemp.
I adore Tony Kemp.
Last year, I wanted him so bad to replace Tommy Edman.
What?
I always want to replace Tommy Edman.
No Tommy Edman slander here, sir.
Thank you.
You can.
Oh man, you need
Suzy,
to watch Cardinals Chronicles.
Start with me.
Anyways, we have Suzy and Shelby Miller from the Bourbon and Baseball podcast. Suzy has already talked a little bit. Shelby, how are you doing?
Man, I'm great. I'm excited to finally be on here. Shit, I feel like I'm pretty hard to get a hold of. So
I know it's been a
lot
of.
What do you mean you feel like? What do you mean you feel like you're hard to get a hold of, bitch? Are you kidding me right now?
Wow.
No, Shelby. No. Golly.
Starting off.
No, man. I'm freaking ready. I'm pumped. I'm excited to be here. I hope I bring a lot of good energy, and I'm really excited. I looked at the notes, and I'm pretty pumped to get to some of these conversations.
Yeah, we do have some baseball news, but first we wanted to talk to you about your podcast, Bourbon and Baseball. So I stumbled on you guys 2 weeks ago now, and I watched one episode. You guys were drinking, and so that made me – I was like, oh, yeah, I'm hooked now.
Sir, you have to be a little bit more specific on which episode that you caught that we were drinking.
It was season 2, episode 3. I believe you were talking about how your new savior – God, Kyle Tucker poster that your husband got you.
Oh man, it's beautiful. Man, she definitely got a kiss there.
Yes.
Anyway, so I got
We're
hooked,
winning there.
So I texted you guys. I texted Shelby, and then she ghosted me, and then Suzy ended up texting Brandon and Brandon never told me, and he was like, "Oh, by the way, this Bourbon and Baseball girls, they texted me." And I was like, "Oh, cool." I was, sitting in the fetal position, waiting for them to respond to me, and Shelby just was like, "Oh no, Logan, Logan."
Now I realize that I was a little unprofessional enough to very bad.
No.
So
I didn't realize what your day job was, so you're totally forgiven for like me asking you to do that, like the first week of the returning of schools.
You know what? I could have texted you back through the tears. I should have texted you back through the tears. But you know what? I just let Suzy literally does everything, and I've said this multiple times on the podcast. I pretty much just get on here and talk shit every week. I don't even really do anything else. I don't even know. Like somebody asked me the other day, they're like, "Where do y'all record on?" And I'm like, "Hell, I don't even know the name of it. I don't even know how to use it." And I'm texting Suzy. I'm like, "Hey, how do you do all this?"
Yeah, it gets pretty tough after a while. But anyways, so you guys started Bourbon and Baseball last year?
Yeah, so we started this, I guess, the middle of this past season, I believe, like right before summer started.
Yep.
It actually kind of was a joke at first. I reached out on Twitter I had a guy named Robert Land reach out, and it was something, a tweet about a podcast. And I was like, man, I literally responded. I was like, man, I feel like I would be really good at this. And then I ended up going on his podcast, and then Suzy's like, "Hey, we should start a podcast." And I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And then at one point, it wasn't talk anymore. Like we were really going with it. I'm like, "Damn, I'm just gonna take it and run with it."
Yeah. So I had found baseball. I had gotten into baseball in 2018 and was more seriously getting into baseball. And my husband is basically tired of listening to me rant about baseball. And he had kind of floated it like, you should start a podcast. And I just kind of laughed at him. I was like, who the fuck wants to listen to me about baseball? Like, no one wants to listen to me about baseball. And he goes, you would be surprised. And I was like, yeah, but I don't know who. I can't do a baseball podcast by myself because that would be weird. And then I tried to find other women podcasts about baseball and couldn't find any. And then I stumbled on the episode that Shelby had done with Robert Land, where she literally said, I would love to be on a baseball podcast one day. And I was like, done and done. Done. Okay. And so Shelby and I have known each other for years. And so when that came about, I reached out and I was like, Shelby, baseball podcast? Yes. And she's like, of course, let's do it. And the rest is basically history now.
Yeah. So like Suzy, you're a relatively new fan. Like 2018 is when you really started getting obsessed with it. Yes. Shelby, you played college softball, right?
Yeah. So I went to the University of Houston and played ball. I've been a fan of the Astros for a really long time. I mean, I got to go to my very first baseball game in the Astrodome. And then when I was playing T-ball when I was 4 years old, I was number 5. So, I loved Jeff Bagwell. Kind of fell out of watching it for a while, but then when I was at U of H, the stadium's right there. So, I mean, we could go to games for little to nothing in like 2014 and 15. I mean, we were $5 and they had like college night to where you could go for little to nothing. So I kind of got back into it and then moved away, coached in college a little bit. I was living in Louisiana when the Astros won in 2017. After that, it was a wrap. I mean, that's pretty much all I ingest is baseball now. And then this past year, I've actually gotten to I play a lot of MLB The Show. And I got really into it probably about the last year and a half or 2 years. I follow the whole league now. So, man, but it's awesome. I'm sure people get tired of me getting really geeked up. All my emotions build up to Sunday when we record. And I'm like, I've been waiting all week to fucking talk about this. I can't wait.
Have you played Diamond Dynasty? Are you at that level or are you just at the franchise mode?
Oh, no. I played Diamond Dynasty. I got really bored this year. I'm like 4 cards away from Mantle, and I was like, I just got over it. So, but I mean, I play quite a bit.
Oh, my gosh.
What words are you even saying right now, Shelby? Like, I don't even understand what's going on.
They're talking
I got
about
a little too Yeah, I got a little too obsessed with Diamond Dynasty last year, and I went. Yeah, it was bad. It was like daily. Anyway, so you guys started up Bourbon and Baseball. You guys obviously have a healthy obsession and a little bit.
We can call it unhealthy. We can call it what it is.
Yeah.
Well, if I call y'all's obsession unhealthy, then I have to call my obsession unhealthy. Like you haven't even heard me talk about Trey Turner yet. Darren, Josh, do you guys have any questions at the moment?
Keep him away from Trey Turner and keep him away from Juan Soto, and the show will be fine.
Well, now you got me curious, Logan. Now I have to poke you with a stick. Are we on the Juan Soto train, or are we off the Juan Soto train?
Oh, we love Juan Soto. He
thinks about Juan Soto in the shower.
Yeah. No, Trey Turner is in the shower.
Okay, Juan Soto's the night before he goes to bed.
Juan Soto's holding the towel for him.
Okay, so Logan, you are on the bandwagon of Juan Soto deserves a Gold Glove in right field. You're on that bandwagon?
No, he does not deserve that. But he is still. I say he might be the next Stan Musial, which is very high praise. I think
blasphemous.
I think he's got one of the best plate vision. He's got the best plate vision since Lance Berkman and Matt Carpenter. Just because he's just so good. Anyways, this is not about Juan Soto again. I promise you.
It only started with Juan Soto.
Okay, I kind of started it. Anyways, but Darren, do you have any questions for them as an A's fan or as a baseball fan?
Well, I was kind of curious as a podcaster. Like, I always kind of find it fascinating. I mean, like, how challenging did you guys find it at the beginning? To like, was there any challenges amongst the way with it? Like, finding the time to do it. Like, that's what we were talking about that today on our pod. Just kind of in the rhythm of getting used to it, putting it out weekly, making you're talking to your friend, but you also don't want to sound like an idiot out there at the same time too. Did you find any challenges with that at the beginning?
Yeah, so we had to re-record our quote unquote first episode like 3 times because we had, and by we I mean me, I had all of the technical difficulties the first 2 times, because the first time, which we both admittedly said was probably the best episode that we had ever recorded ever.
For sure.
And we had, what was it, Shelby? Was it you could hear me but you couldn't hear you?
Right, yeah. You could only hear one voice. So she was like talking to herself. And then the second time I was just talking to myself.
Yes.
You used Riverside, didn't you?
No. We used Descript the first time.
Yeah.
And there was some sort of hack, something that, like a workaround that you had to do if you weren't on a Mac to pick up the microphone or something. And I obviously did it incorrectly because I thought I did it correctly. I did not, because it only picked up me and it didn't pick up Shelby. Second time, it picked up Shelby and it didn't pick up me. So the third time that we recorded, I said, fuck it. We're going to record down here. We're going to back up record it somewhere else. It was a whole thing. And by the time we got to our first episode, we were like, oh my God, this is like the third time that we're like saying all this information. So it was interesting to say the least, because it was not great. It was not great.
Josh and I have had that experience.
Yeah, but no, when it comes to the schedule and stuff, it was pretty easy to figure out that Sunday was like the best day, obviously, with like my day job and stuff. And we did really kind of get into a groove. Like, we know that Sundays is our day, and then things come up or whatever a lot, and I try to communicate that. But when it comes to like getting it out and it getting quote unquote views and all that kind of stuff, we set the bar really low. We were like, we're literally just going to get on here and talk about baseball and just go about our day. Like we were just videoing our conversation is pretty much what our expectation. We didn't really expect for people to just start watching it or, to be, Variety Sports Network eventually have a show. But, we were like, okay, if something comes of it, then it comes of it. It is what it is. So, but we're having a blast with it, man. This is awesome. It's always a great way to start my week.
Can I ask one more thing, Logan, real quick? It sounds like Kyle Tucker is Suzy's favorite player. Maybe it sounds like, and it sounds like Jeff Bagwell is Shelby's maybe favorite player growing up. Is there anybody else that you guys? I was just curious. Is there like somebody else that stands out to the fans? Or a Biggio maybe, or I don't know, Altuve now, something like that.
So we were both Kyle Tucker stands. Like Bagwell is my OG. Like that was my guy. I did the stance.
You practice that stance all the time.
Of course, absolutely. But we are Kyle Tucker stands for sure. Like
I'm gonna move my monitor up just a little bit so that you can see a little bit more of my room. Like, do you see that up there? That's a picture of Kyle Tucker and I and my twins. And if you look real close, it kind of looks like a family picture. Not gonna lie, I don't actually have feelings like that for Kyle Tucker. Like I don't find him physically.
It was your Christmas card though. That's what you're saying.
No. I love Kyle Tucker as like a player and like as a baseball player. I don't love Kyle Tucker like that. However, I like when Kyle Tucker leaves in free agency, and like he should, because he deserves all of the money. Go get your bag, sir. I will cry. Literal, actual alligator tears. Cry. It will not be a good day.
I don't know how much y'all have listened to our show, but we have a running. It's not really a joke, but we have a Kyle Tucker cheer in our house. So my girlfriend loves Kyle Tucker. That's kind of how it all started. He looks like Stinky Peterson from Hey Arnold, and I will never be able to get that image out of my head. And if you need to look up who Stinky Peterson is right now, if you don't know who it is. And so literally when we cheer for the Astros, we're like, oh my gosh, go Stinky, let's go Stinky. And it's like, you just can't, it just stuck.
Yeah. I've been literally since he came up, we have been like all in on Kyle Tucker when everyone in the Astros fan base were saying, trade Kyle Tucker, he sucks. But no. He was getting his feet wet, had to season a little bit, and no, we are Kyle Tuckers.
Don't listen to the 7th inning stretch after game 2.
Oh yeah.
Logan, you will not like Logan and you. We were not fans of Tucker that day.
So I told Suzy this when we met her. I said I got really angry at Kyle Tucker for saying, "Oh, hopefully we sweep him." And I was like, are you spitting in the face of the baseball gods right now for real? Like before a World Series? Like, oh my gosh, that's so stupid.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, Kyle Tucker and Bregman, that's my guys. I love Alex Bregman. I think he's gonna be one of the best third basemen of all time, to be honest. I mean, I think he's very undervalued.
1,000%. Jeremy Pena, also, I'm very high on Jeremy Pena, mostly because I find Jeremy Pena physically attractive. Very physically attractive.
Okay then.
Yeah.
Josh, do you have any questions about the Astros or anything?
Not. I mean, the only question I would have would be for Shelby, and that's because she's been with baseball long enough to remember probably back when the Cardinals were the Astros' daddy. Back in the NL Central days.
So what's funny is that Suzy actually was watching the World Series, and she was like, "Oh yeah, there was a big hit," and I'm like, "David Freese, you're talking about David Freese? Like he is like the Cardinals legend."
Yeah.
So yeah,
I just watched the 2011 World Series, and if we can rewind, if we could go back in time and get all of my reaction from that, Logan, like we would go viral and we would all be making a gajillion dollars because the ridiculousness that came out of my mouth that I tweeted out actually too, but that it was all of the most amazing ridiculousness that you could imagine ever. Cause I literally know nothing before like 2018. And when I say that I was shocked and amazed that there was skinny Albert Pujols and skinny freaking Nelly Cruz playing out in the field. I'm like, I'm sorry, what now? How are they out there with the gloves and the things? And then David Freese. I was like, I need Cardinals fans. Like, is David Freese amazing for y'all? Like, do you revere him as a god? No? Yes?
Yes.
Well, Suzy, I saw that tweet and I actually I tweeted you back and gave you like my full explanation on David Freese.
Yes. Okay, yes.
So that was my personal point of view where he ranks. He's definitely there, but he's not, with some of the other greats. But there's more World Series you need to watch. I think I gave you a few of those to go back and watch too for great ones.
Yeah.
But Shelby, do you like the fact that Houston's in the AL and no longer in the NL? Or, well, I guess it doesn't really matter now. But did you like the switch over when you guys got to go play with the DH?
I really didn't have too many feelings, and honestly, it was just a lot because they did the total rebrand. Like they changed everything. So I can't really say if I didn't like it or not, just because it was a lot. But I pretty much felt like we were just gonna get our shit rocked for a while. That's about the only thing I can. That's probably my only feelings. Yeah, I was like, oh God, we're gonna get our shit rocked for a while.
We got our buddy Tyler saying, I don't think Pujols' ball has landed yet.
Yeah, I think it was Lidge? I don't remember if it was
Brad Lidge.
Yeah, it was an absolute moonshot. It was like a Jorge Soler moonshot.
The moonshot that ruined a career
in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
I think they found it on Mars the other day. No, but it's funny. So growing up as a Cardinals fan, my dad is a huge Cardinals fan, and he hated the Astros in the 2000s because, it was always the Astros and the Cardinals. And I remember I got drafted or whatever in Little League for the Astros. And my dad got so mad. And I used to wear the hat like in the house, and he was like, take that off. And like right when the season was over, he grabbed my stuff and he said, you got to burn this. And I was like, okay. And so like we couldn't have any Astro stuff because I think it was in 2005. So like even though we had the Pujols home run, we still lost that series. But we did get to ruin Brad Lidge's career, so that was good. But anyways,
I feel so welcome in here. I feel so welcome.
Yeah, right.
When I started watching baseball, so my husband is quite a few older than I am, and so he would try and fill me in on all the things. And every time Albert Pujols would come up to bat, for the Angels, he's like, oh man, he's like, Astros killer. And I was like, this Albert Pujols, is this what you're talking about? Like that? And he's like, yeah, for years, Albert Pujols was an Astros killer. I'm all, oh, okay. And it's one of those like, sure. Like, of course, you know what you're talking about. And then like watching that World Series, I was like, oh, I see now that Albert Pujols was actually a really good player. I got you now. And he's like,
that's
how did you not believe me? Yeah.
That's interesting that you think of Albert. You didn't see Albert Pujols the way Darren, Josh, and Shelby even saw him.
Yeah.
So like, that's really like back in the day, that was like, he was the greatest player of all time.
He was the dude.
And like they were already comparing him to Babe Ruth in every other month of Sports Illustrated and ESPN magazine. He was greatness. Well, I guess news this week. We officially announced this week that you guys are joining us. You're going to do a show. So like you're going to do an Astro show. We spent countless hours trying to figure out what to name it. And here it is. Back that Astro.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back that Astros up.
We love it. If you haven't already picked up on the sarcasm note in Shelby and I's voice, like we love being sarcastic. We love being sassy. We are obviously women who love baseball, but we're also women who love baseball and know what the fuck we're talking about. Like we're not just, like pretty faces talking about baseball. And so we kind of wanted to play off of that, but not overtly. And so the first time Shelby gave me names, they were not the most appropriate.
So mind you,
Go ahead.
Last week, I mean, I was getting at work at like 6:15, and I wasn't leaving until I think I was on the road when she texted me like, "Hey, we got to name this thing." It was like 5:30, 6 o'clock. I'm just out on the way home. My work day is like 7 to 3, so I was like all over the place. She's like, "Hey, we got to name this." And my very first response was Astros and Titties. And she was like, I don't know about that one. I don't think we can call it Astros and Titties.
Astros or Titties. Astros or Titties. That's the or is very important, Shelby.
So then I was like, okay, I have a 16-year-old boy sense of humor. And then I was like thinking about Step Brothers, and I'm like, Stros and Hoes, right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
So and then I was like, okay, we can tone it down a little bit more. And I'm like, hey, you know, you's a fine motherfucker. Why don't you back that Astros up? Why not? Let's do it. I think that's it. I think that just, it gives our sense of humor.
Yeah.
And that's all we want. I mean, we're not. We just want to represent us and what we're about, and that's baseball, the Astros, and then a lot of humor. So I think it ended up being perfect. I'm glad it ended up working out, and that's what we ended up going with.
Yeah, I had some names, and all of a sudden I texted Suzy some of the names, and then she goes, "Oh yeah, we already have a name," and I was like, "Cool. Do you have a logo yet?" And she goes, boom. And I was like, oh, okay, then.
Done.
It was great. I loved it. I love that you guys are a part of the VSN family now. Hopefully, Suzy and we have been brainstorming. We're trying to get you to do live reactions of World Series games.
Yeah.
pretty soon. I guess you have watched the 2019 World Series. Yeah.
Why you gotta rub salt in the wound, Logan?
Honestly, that's one of my favorite World Series. That doesn't involve the Cardinals. No, I didn't have a dog, and I was also watching it on a cruise, so that's another reason why it's one of my favorites. So the atmosphere.
Freaking Howie Kendrick, and so you'll love this. You'll love this, Logan, because I have strong feelings on Juan Soto. Such strong feelings on Juan Soto. And when I tell you that I wanted Zach Greinke to give all the fucking smoke to Juan Soto when he did that fucking Soto shuffle in the box, I have never wanted a baseball player drilled more than that moment. I wanted Zach Greinke to just give him a freaking bow tie, and I was screaming at my TV.
84-mile-an-hour bow tie.
Yeah,
little 84-mile-an-hour chin music from Zach Greinke.
84.
I was thinking that stuff wouldn't have flown with Nolan Ryan or Bob Gibson. So that's
I was yelling. I was screaming at my TV when Juan Soto did that in the box. And so this story will not make any sense until I tell you the backstory. When I originally moved to Texas from Vegas, my husband took me to a travel ball team game that I had to photograph because that's what I do in my day job. And I didn't know anything about baseball still at that point. And he's like, we're just going to photograph this game for my friend. I think they were like 10, 11, 12. I don't actually remember the age, but they were in that age range. We're going to go and we're going to photograph this game. And I was like, I don't know anything about whatever's going on. So cool. Okay, whatever. And so he's like, just stand here, aim, like focus on the batter in the box and just push the button. I'm like, okay, fine. So we're going and my husband's friend's kid is up to bat. This fastball comes whizzing by his head and the kid leans back as to not get hit by the pitch. And all of a sudden, his dad from the stands is screaming at him, you fucking lean into that ball. It's only going 50 miles an hour. You fucking get hit. And I'm standing there not knowing anything about the game, not knowing anything about how the dynamics of anything works. And I'm traumatized taking pictures of the little kid in the box. And I'm just standing here with the eyes wide open, and I'm Asian, so you see the whites of my eyes at this point, and my husband knows that I am shocked at this point, and he's like, just any, and I was like, I am enraged, I'm indignant, all of the feelings are coming out, because like, how dare this parent start yelling at I'm like, are you kidding me right now? I was so mad, I was so angry, because obviously didn't understand the game at all. So at that moment, when Juan Soto is doing the fucking Soto shuffle in the box and Zach Greinke is staring him down and I'm yelling at the TV and I'm like, I hope you drill that motherfucker. I was so mad. And Mike goes, Mike's my husband. Tell me again how you don't want people to get hit by the ball. I was like, I don't give a fuck. I was so mad. He's like, wow. So just a complete 180 from that person when you first moved here to now. Good job, Suzy. Good job. I was like, I don't even care. I was so mad. So that was my whole getting hit by a ball in baseball story.
You gotta wear that shit. You can't risk a strikeout right there. I don't care if you get hit and you get a concussion. You wear that shit. No.
Was not aware of that fact when I was photographing this game, and now I 1000% kind of agree that.
And cussing is like a second nature of baseball too. I mean,
yeah. I always laugh about
tobacco.
Oh yeah, tobacco. Yeah, definitely tobacco. I always laugh at like whenever I see baseball podcasts or any sports podcasts, and then someone comments, "My son and I try to watch this, but you guys cuss." I'm like, listen, he needs to fucking deal with it. Like your son cusses. Don't worry. It's not like he's some saint. I don't.
Oh
care.
Yeah, he's tearing those kids up on Roblox.
He's already on Pornhub. So
they got him on Fortnite. He's cussing people out on Fortnite.
Yeah.
Just grown ass men out on Fortnite.
He doesn't even know what all the cuss words even mean, but he's saying it like you fuck. Anyways.
Yeah.
Anyways, but well, we love having you guys on, and we're looking forward to all the maniacal things we're gonna do. Darren, you have a couple minutes left, and you mentioned it before the show even started. I'm gonna throw a curveball. Who are we? I mean, not who are we rooting for? Because I hope we're all rooting for the same team, unless you're a communist. Who do we have winning the World Baseball Classic? Darren, I'll start with you.
Korea, of course.
Oh, there it is.
I'm just kidding. It's funny because North, South Korea, communists. It's funny, right? No? Okay, good.
We love communism here. Anyways,
VSN wants all the smoke right now, y'all.
All of it.
Right?
Yes,
happening.
out of Texas. Texas loves communism.
You
The
shut
Dominican
your trash
Republic
mouth.
lineup's stacked. That's all I know. That
Oh my
lineup is
gosh.
ridiculous. Yeah, Nelson Cruz is the GM of that team. That's got to be the easiest GM job of all time.
Well, he's player GM.
Yeah,
GM. Like,
Yeah.
Will he
sir,
bat fourth?
yeah. I was like, what are
Yeah,
we doing,
if you-
Nelly Cruz? Why are you even batting? Stop it.
He's leading off. No,
He's playing right field to
no, don't do that. Don't
To
do
redeem himself from that
redeem
2011
yeah.
World Series is okay. Good.
It's amazing how he stopped being a right fielder after that game. They're like, no, we're not doing that anymore.
Could have
Oh
won a World
my
Series.
God.
Could have.
Oh god.
But so you like the Dominican Republic in this one?
I mean,
I,
does anybody have a better lineup?
I like Japan, honestly, and not just because of Shohei, but there was this player I heard about, and he's now my new favorite player of all time. And now I can't remember.
I'm
Trey
going to
Turner's
judge
not
you when you
Japanese.
can't say his name, Logan. Just
I can
just so
say
you
his
know.
name. I just can't remember his
Trey
name.
Turner
Okay.
is not Japanese. You can't get away.
He identifies. Oh my gosh. Oh, someone
So
say
much for being your new world favorite player.
Exactly.
Suzuki.
no. His name is like. Oh,
I'm all.
Yeah,
Is
the
it the?
A-top.
Is it the? I'm like, which one is it? Is it the? Is it the
The
one
A's
for the
just
Red
got it.
Sox or the one for?
no, he's not even in the major leagues yet.
Okay.
Tony Soto.
Where's it played out this year?
I know Miami has one.
Miami has it.
Phoenix.
They're playing in Phoenix.
Phoenix,
Yeah.
yeah.
Phoenix and Miami.
While I'm looking for the player, Josh, who do you got?
So I don't have an overall favorite because I'm still trying to figure out which way I'm leaning, but I've got it down to 3 teams. I've got it down to America, USA all the way, baby.
America. You got to
I'm
say it like
also
that if that's what we're doing.
America.
America. Fuck yeah.
Hey, I'm in Missouri. We don't have that exact dialect. Puerto Rico or the Dominican.
You don't have Japan ranked up there?
I
Why do
mean,
you
they're
have
up there. They're probably in my top 5, but I don't
Okay.
know if they're 4 or 5 yet. My top 3 is pretty well set.
Why
Okay.
do you have Puerto
fair.
Rico in there?
Well, I got to
Don't
root
you
for Puerto
say
Rico
it.
for
No,
Reasons.
don't you
You
say
owe
it.
somebody money.
Your
You
reason.
son of a bitch. Why would you
I got a
root
guy
for
down
Puerto
there in
Rico?
Puerto
Don't you say he's going to leave halfway through the tournament just to watch his basketball team? I'm sure. I'm sorry. I love him. If you guys didn't know, it's Yadier Molina.
all of a sudden he loves him.
I love Yadier Molina sometimes, but not all the time.
He rarely loves Yachty.
Dude,
He hates Yachty.
I was not aware that Yadier Molina could actually hit a ball. Again, going back to referencing that 2011 World Series.
She's
Okay.
He's like one of the
criminy.
clutchest players of all
Suzy.
time.
He's one of the most clutch batters ever.
I just gave Logan a heart attack. Like that's amazing. I just gave Logan a heart attack.
Oh
That's
gosh.
seriously. These
Oh,
these
Suzy.
are the takes. When I tell you, Logan, that we would have been viral, like these are the takes. And the headline would be "Stupid girl doesn't know actual baseball facts." Like that would have been the headline. Okay. Like,
Oh,
I'm
man.
fully aware.
And then guy that has watched baseball does not either.
But again, you want to sit there and tell me that in the last couple of years, Yadier Molina has been a good hitter?
No, not in the last couple of years.
Exactly,
Probably not the
and
last
that's all I
5.
have. That's all I have to fucking base
You're a
my
professional.
observations off of.
Josh, I want you to know I have
2018 and
not
on.
I have not coached her before.
I don't believe that.
promise you, I haven't even talked about Yadier Molina, but
You tell everybody to
Suzy,
get me riled up.
you have risen through the ranks right now as like my favorite. Like I'm gonna replace Josh with you because
Hold on, back it up. You hate Tommy Edman so much, and in every trade scenario, you try to trade Tommy Edman. And Suzy said
I don't-
no bad talk about Tommy Edman. So
I don't-
See, I'm like no bad talk about Yachty. The man literally builds stadiums in Puerto Rico. I don't do Yachty slander well, to be honest.
I don't-
good. See,
I'm not
Shelby's
trying-
on my side too.
I am not trying to slander Yadier Molina. I am stating facts. The last few years since I've watched baseball, 2018 and on, has Yadier Molina been a good hitter? No,
No,
the
but
answer
he's
is no.
still one of the top 5 catchers behind the plate.
We're not talking about catching ability, sir.
See, you
I'm not
sound
saying
just like
anything.
Logan.
I'm not
The
saying
whole
anything about
position is
catching.
both parts.
I'm not.
Thanks.
I'm
When
not
you're a
saying anything.
catcher,
I'm
being
not
behind
saying
the
that
plate's more important than hitting.
Am I refuting that fact? I am not.
No, I'm just letting you
sir.
know. I'm just
I'm
giving you a
not.
heads up.
I'm.
Don't call me
but
sir. I'm not that old.
However, well, I don't know. I'm 40 years old, so I'm gonna.
Okay,
call
you're
it-
older than I am, dear.
Okay.
You look younger, but you're
Wow.
older than I am.
Wait, did you
Okay.
just call me dear?
Oh,
Yes,
God.
ma'am.
Yeah, yes,
Oh.
ma'am, and yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
See, I can do the ma'am. That's fine. Don't call me dear. Like no, sir. That's not. That's
Well,
not
you're in
nice.
the South, so dear,
That's not-
darling.
Okay.
Definitely don't call me
Hey,
darling. Like I will
okay.
actually fly to
We
Missouri
love
and I will throw punch you. Like that's not a thing that we're gonna
Darren,
do.
Shelby, and I are just like, man.
She's not your typical Southern chick. All right.
I love how
I am from Vegas. Like I will fucking fight
Franchise
bitch.
mode.
Anyhow. Okay, but like
She's
but
gonna
really
be
though, we are going to I separate catching ability with hitting ability. I will 1000% maintain that Yadier Molina, amazing catcher. Amazing. Okay? Like catching ability, 1000% up there. Yadier Molina at the plate with a bat in his hand, not so good. Not so good. I'm gonna put that out there. And no one can refute that fact. From 2018 on, not so good, right?
No, I
In that
agree.
2011 World Series, when they put up his stats, I legitimately was shocked. And I think, did I text you, Shelby, or was that a text to Mike? I don't remember. Regardless, I had texted someone in all caps. Yadier Molina was actually a good hitter at one point, and got that same reaction because I did not know. I was not aware that Yadier Molina was super amazing at one point in his career. See, this, like I said. It's
not
a
just
cool
super amazing, clutch as hell. That is like you want to run her on second base with 2 outs. That's the guy you wanted up for a little bit at a time. That's the amazing thing because he did suck at hitting the last 3 years.
Okay, see, so it's one of those things where players in the later years of their career, I only have that frame of reference. So when I see them, like I said, Nelson Cruz in right field, actually fielding balls and doing athletic things besides hitting at the plate. It's one of those. Like it's
what the hell happened here?
It's mind blowing.
Suzy, you're going to be so much fun to have on the network. That's all I have to say.
I'm going to start thinking of coaches now that are coaching that are playing in World Series. That's what I got to get you now on stuff like that. I got to start looking for this thing.
I'm surprised that in a Yadier Molina argument, I was quiet most of the time. I didn't have to say
Because you're learning, Logan.
I didn't have to say a damn thing.
Less
about it.
is more.
I know. But I will say between 2012 and 16, Yachty stepped up in a tremendous way. And like before, he was a shitty hitter too. Like before 2012. Like in 2010, everyone was like Yachty, or Tony La Russa famously said if Yachty was hitting 0 batting average, he would still be making the lineup. And
funny,
so,
that's how we feel about, and I say we, that's how the Astros feel about Martin Maldonado.
Yeah. He's just not nearly as good defensively as Yachty was. But
Astros fans, turn away.
Yeah,
Don't listen
right?
to this portion of the program.
But anyways, but yeah, Yachty definitely the last couple of years. I just get mad at Yachty because I feel like he should have retired after the 2020 season. It was like, okay,
Wainwright didn't let him.
Yeah, 1,000%. I agree with
record.
that.
I would have rather had JT Realmuto than Yachty's feelings.
Side note, a little upset that I did not get to see Waino in that 2011 World Series. I was very upset.
Tommy John
Yeah, that was
surgery.
the one he was injured.
We thought it was going to be a wash year, and he was coming off like a Cy Young like top 3. Like he and Chris Carpenter were top 3 in Cy Young for 2009, 2010, not 2011 because Carpenter was shit for most of the year.
Yeah.
But anyways,
I was very sad. I did not get to see a young Adam Wainwright pitch in the World Series.
2006. Go watch that. He's closer.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
He
closer.
was a closer there. Not
That's
a
how he
starter.
started his career.
Yeah. His first at bat ever was a home run against the Giants.
Yeah.
Yep. He was a reliever
Hey,
at that
you
point.
know things now.
who was the
Anyways.
pitcher? Who was the pitcher? Do you remember?
I
I asked this like I know the answer. I don't fucking know the answer. Just FYI.
don't
Like,
remember that one.
He's
Not a
somebody,
test.
though.
He was
Hold
on
on.
the Pirates. No, I was kidding.
Yeah, but Wayno was one of those pitchers that could actually hit.
Yeah. Well, not towards the end, but
Golly, let's just rain on everybody once they're over 36 years old.
yeah. If you're over 36 and you don't produce, get the fuck out. Okay. We got some news stories to go over. Darren, did you have a news story that you wanted to talk about before you had to go? Or do you have to jump now?
Nah, I probably should go now. Here, I got probably should jump off. But I did want to say I did because you guys will talk about the Arraez trade a little bit later. With that, I teach and coach basketball over at a school here. So we do this basketball league on Saturdays, and the guy that does the reffing is a scout for the Twins in our area in Northern California out here. I live out in northern, about an hour north of San Francisco. And I was asking him about the trade, and he goes, I don't know. He goes, we traded a batting champ for a middle of the rotation guy. So I just thought that was kind of an interesting take from somebody in the organization, not necessarily has a say, but just a scout that's been involved and still does stuff. So as I log off here on my 13th wedding anniversary here, I gotta it's good to be with you guys, Shelby and Suzy. Hopefully I can get you guys on the Fat Boy Fadeaway Sports here podcast, and we can talk about the A's and Astros a little bit here. But Logan, I wanted to leave you with that little nugget. Before we get out of here.
Little nugget about inviting them onto Fat Boy Fadeaway just whenever.
Yep. But invite them on there. But I got to go, though, with that said, guys. But Logan, till then, see you guys next time. Later.
See you guys.
Bye.
Yeah, take it easy.
Peace.
Yeah, we do have, I guess, our biggest story. And I guess Pablo Lopez is kind of a middle rotation. He's not an ace by any stretch of the imagination. But Twins acquired Pablo Lopez and Jose Salas, top prospect for the Marlins, for batting champion Luis Arraez. Pablo Lopez last year had 3.75 ERA, 1.08 ERA plus, 3.71 FIP, and a 1.16 WHIP. Luis Arraez led the league in batting average last season, which is the only reason why I'm mentioning it. 316 batting average, 375 on base, 795 OPS, and a 130 OPS plus. Shelby, let's start off with you. What did you think about this trade?
So I don't know if you saw my immediate reaction on Twitter as soon as it dropped, but I love Jazz Chisholm. I think he's an electric athlete. I think he's a new age guy. And the first thing I think is like, what the fuck are they going to do with Jazz Chisholm, right? Obviously he was injured last year, but I think he has a really high upside when he comes back. So I was pretty worried about that. But then when I saw that they're going to move him to center, which even though he's never played, me and Suzy just had a little hash out about this, about Jazz Chisholm going to center field. Comes out and he's like, I'm gonna go win a Gold Glove. I'm like, hell yeah, Jazz Chisholm, go out there and win a Gold Glove. So I'm for it. I think the Marlins are doing some special things in their front office, and I don't know. I'm definitely gonna watch. I'm gonna pay attention to the Marlins a lot more.
Yeah, they're pretty interesting. And Jazz Chisholm, famously, you kind of touched on it, and I'll get to Suzy in a second. So hold on. No, I'm kidding.
I'm gonna just be over here drinking my water. So
we already went into this.
But Jazz told his GM, if you didn't sign a player, I'll move over to center field and I'll win you a Gold Glove. Which I think is pretty bad, like you said, badass. And I love that. I think, like, as a player and as a GM, you want to hear that. And, to hear Jazz Chisholm just completely bought into that was really cool to hear. Suzy, you sound really on board with this idea. What do you feel?
So I want to touch on the point where you said that Pablo Lopez is not an ace. You are correct in that he is not an ace in the Miami Marlins rotation, 1000%, right? Because like, who the fuck can compete with Sandy Alcantara? However, in that Twins rotation, he's looking mighty fine as the ace. Because like, who else do you have? You have Sonny Gray, you have Joe Ryan. Oh yeah, super ace Kenta Maeda.
Right, that's like all. No, I'm not saying he's going to be an ace, but like, there's nobody.
Tyler Mahle, like,
yeah,
no, there's not. There's Sonny Gray and Joe Ryan who held that rotation up last season, and and Pablo Lopez is gonna slot in there as their quote unquote ace, which at this time you were 100% correct. Like, he would be the ace of the Twins. We did hash this out on our episode of Bourbon and Baseball of Jazz Chisholm moving from short to second to center field. And while I still maintain that Jazz Chisholm is one of the most electric motherfuckers you will ever see on a baseball field, he is going to go 1000%, and he's going to hurt himself in the center field. He's going to run into that wall trying to lay out for an amazing catch, and he's going to hurt himself, and he is going to hurt himself very early in the season, and you will not see him the rest of the season, Shelby. Okay? I want to see Jazz Chisholm play. I want to see Jazz Chisholm do all of the things, the amazing plays. He's going to hurt himself.
I don't know. I don't want him to get hurt, obviously, but like, it's like I said on our show, like, it's so much easier to put a leash on a dog and pull him back than to give him the hunger. Jazz Chisholm has the hunger. He has the hunger.
I'm not arguing that fact.
Yeah.
That's not the fact that I'm arguing. I'm arguing the fact that the motherfucker is so hungry, he is going to go over the center field wall to get a meal. That's what I'm arguing, Shelby.
In order for him to play a full season, it's got to be controlled chaos. To kick off the season, absolutely. It's very high chance that he's going to do something ridiculous, right? But once that chaos is controlled, it's going to be awesome.
How do you put a control on that, though? Because it's Jazz Chisholm.
There's no choice as an organization. You have to. Like, he is now, like, him and Sandy Alcantara are the face of Miami baseball.
I don't understand why the Joey Wendell slander, Shelby. I don't understand the Joey Wendell.
He doesn't wear batting gloves. That's why.
That's true.
That's why
he doesn't wear batting gloves.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised they had Joey Wendell at shortstop to start, and they're moving Jazz to center field, because I told you on your tweet before I looked like a complete fucking moron that I was like, oh yeah, I think he's just going to move over to short, and Joey Wendell's going to be a backup. And then they were like, oh yeah, no, he's going to play center field. And I thought, look, yeah, obviously he's going to have more risk of injury, but I think also, like, you're still going to, if you're going to get injured, you're going to get injured at second base, shortstop, third base, any position, right field, left field. So the only place that you really aren't going to get injured is DH. And even then you can still get injured. So it's just, I don't know. I think
they just want to see what an entire lineup of second basemen can do. That's what it is.
Listen, Skip Schumacher was a center fielder and a second baseman, so maybe he's trying to get everybody to be like him.
When I tell you that when I recognized Skip Schumacher's name and was like, I'm sorry, what? The manager of the Marlins played actual baseball? And my husband was like, I can't. Why do you even talk with the things, Suzy? Yes, he played baseball for the team. And I was like, what? I don't. And then Ian Kinsler, I was like, what? Ian Kinsler? And he goes, how the fuck do you know who Ian Kinsler is? And I was like, because he's a manager for one of the World Baseball Classic teams. And he goes, are you kidding me right now? You know the World Baseball Classic? And I was like, yes. What was like, why don't you? He was very mad. But yeah, again,
I think he's playing he's playing for Israel.
Is he a player? Is he a player manager too? I thought he was just a manager.
But yeah, I think Ian Kinsler is playing. Josh, what do you think of this whole trade and Jazz Chisholm?
So the trade's the trade. I think it's a fair value trade for both teams. Suzy and Shelby both kind of hit points that I was thinking of, as in Pablo Lopez is not an ace starter for most clubs. He's a number 2, number 3 guy for most clubs, but in Minnesota, he very well could be their ace. So I like the trade value-wise going both ways. It really helps Minnesota, it solidifies their rotation. The thing that gets me about Jazz Chisholm is I could see him not being in Miami if Miami's going to do what they traditionally do with good players, which is ship them out of town. And he could be somewhere else. And I have a great destination for him. Not that it'll happen. Logan's already scratching his head.
Oh, I had an itch at that time, actually.
Oh, okay. I was going to say. But I think St. Louis would be a great fit for Jazz. And here's why. The St. Louis Cardinals have an overabundance of outfielders, and now Miami needs a true outfielder. So why not shuffle Dylan Carlson and Nolan Gorman down there to Miami? Skip Schumacher can have both those guys, pick up a future DH, and send Jazz Chisholm over to the St. Louis Cardinals and put Jazz at second base to run the middle of the infield with Tommy Edman.
So
Logan's about to have an aneurysm over here.
So what I follow some prospects. What is Gorman's ceiling now?
He'll be a DH his entire career because he sucks at defense. He's got the power to hit 40 home runs a season.
Colton Wong was shit at defense when he first came up. So was Tommy Edman even. So,
and you hate both of those guys.
I do hate
I'm
Colton
really
Wong.
shocked you hate Tommy Edman. I'm kind of soaking.
I don't hate Tommy Edman. I hate
introduction here, and I'm like, I don't think I've ever heard Tommy Edman
slander.
Anything.
The thing for me about Tommy Edman is I don't want to spend too much time on Tommy Edman, which means we will. That Tommy Edman, he's really good defensively, obviously, but on the Cardinals, it doesn't help that he is pretty lackluster on offense, especially when you're on a team
each of the last 2 seasons.
Who cares about hits? On base percentage, don't you start with me. You know this. But it just offensively, he's just been very lackluster, and I don't like that on a team that's pretty mediocre, excluding Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado. So that's my thing, is you can't have too many guys whose main focus is defense and then just be like, oh, well, his offense is crap, but guess what? We're fine with it. So
That's fair. Okay.
What was I going to say? I think you're crazy, Josh, for thinking that we would need to send both Dylan Carlson and Nolan Gorman to the Marlins for Jazz Chisholm.
Well, I would hope that we could get another prospect back in that deal, but I would be willing to ship both those guys off to get Jazz if that's what it took.
I think, honestly, Gorman's going to have a bounce back year, and I think Carlson's going to have a bounce back year. I would rather trade. I mean, obviously, O'Neill. I would rather trade O'Neill, but
well, yeah.
Anyways,
but he's not a center fielder.
I think if Pablo Lopez was still on the table, then yes, I would trade both of them for Lopez and Jazz Chisholm. But whatever.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah. Well, not in
a heartbeat. I wouldn't even think about it twice. I'd throw Burleson in too.
Anyways.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. We're
gonna have to come back and talk about these things. That's what's gonna have to happen.
It's a lot of stuff going on here. Josh flies off the cuff sometimes, and it worries me. No, I'm kidding.
I fly off the cuff. You've been gone for a month and a half there, sir.
Okay.
I just have lots of things to share with you.
I know. I don't know. I'm still holding out hope for the Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout deal to the Cardinals.
That's precious. That's so cute. The Cardinals rotation does need an anchor, so it
does.
I mean, yeah.
And honestly, even though Pablo Lopez was not going to be the ace, and I don't think he's even the ace on. I mean, the Twins rotation is so bad that he's the ace by default, and he's a number 2 guy. That's what he is. It's nothing. It's yeah.
I mean, it's facts. It's facts. You're correct.
Yeah. He's I mean, he would have been the ace for the Cardinals, and that's a sad truth to have right there.
I don't know about that.
That it's a sad truth, or that he's the
That he
ace.
would have necessarily been the ace by default.
Who would have been the better ace? Don't you say it. Don't
I was
you
going to say
it.
Monty.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't think Monty. I think Monty is a 2 guy, 2 or 3.
I think he is a 2 guy, but I mean, if Monty and Lopez are both on the Cardinals, I think Monty could be the ace. Is all I'm saying. I think that would almost be a coin flip.
I don't know. I think prime Jack Flaherty is the ace, but I don't think
Jack Flaherty ever becomes prime again.
Yeah,
This is true.
You need for an ace, you need to have lights out stuff. Somebody that like can strike people out, and Cardinals don't believe in that because defense is the greatest thing ever. Anyways, we're moving on. Scott Boras. So Carlos Arraez, finally, he spent 2 months in free agency only to come back to the Twins. And it was a 6-year, $200 million deal.
For less money.
Yeah, the AAV. I would have thought the AAV would have been higher, but whatever. So Scott Boras called out the Mets for their handling of the Correa deal, and I thought it was pretty interesting. He said, I gave them all of the information. We had them talk to 4 doctors. They knew the issue the Giants had, and yet they still call the same doctor the Giants used for his opinion. There was no new information, so why negotiate a contract if you were going to rely on the same doctor? It was different with the Giants because the doctor had an opinion they didn't know about, but the Mets had noticed of this. Whoever wrote this was wrong. Notice of this. They had notice of this. They knew the opinion of the Giants, so why did you negotiate when you know this thing in advance? He said he didn't understand the Mets either. So, Suzy, let's start off with you. What do you think of this? All Scott Boras's comments. Do you think they're founded? Do you think they're just kind of ludicrous? Do you think he had a legit argument to the Mets? Who was in the right?
At this point, what the fuck is in Carlos Correa's ankle? Is it glass? Is it some sort of implant that will just magically implode within the next couple of years? I'm so confused by this, especially because of the fact of that throughout all of the injuries that Carlos Correa has, never once has it been his fucking ankle. Like, not once.
Yeah.
So you want to tell me that you're concerned about his back? Cool. Got it. When everyone's like, oh my God, his ankle is going to explode. Why? Is the implant going to disintegrate at some point in time within the next 4, 5, 6 years? I guess it's 6. After 6 years, his ankle you're just going to have to amputate that, and he will just be a one-legged pirate. I don't even understand. But the fact that the Mets consulted the same Giants ankle specialist, is there only one ankle specialist that people consult? Is this the most world-renowned ankle specialist in the entire world?
Sorry, I have feelings.
Ankleman, yeah.
When this broke, I had feelings. Of course they're going to call the doctor, right? Because they're going to see exactly what he found before they get a second opinion. So I do think I got to wait on my time to shine, but yeah.
Okay, that's fine. You can consult with that doctor. Okay. Like, yes, here are all of the things that we're worried about. Okay, cool. Are you not sorry that my computer is making random noises? Are you not also going to consult somebody else to say, hey, let's maybe get the second most well-renowned ankle specialist to talk about this glass ankle that apparently Carlos Correa has? Like, what the actual fuck? And if you were only going to consult the one, why even talk? Why even have talks about let's give you all of the monies. Let's do 10 years and $1 gajillion. Why? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, I think the problem that they had was giving him money till he was 41 years old. I think the leg would deteriorate after 36, and I think that was the problem that they had. So, I mean, it was just weird. It's just like, dude,
I mean, I'm against long-term contracts as it is anyways, because all of these long-term contracts being handed out to like So sorry, Logan, to Trey Turner and Xander. Like, what are we doing here? Why are we paying these motherfuckers till they're 90,000 years old? I don't understand. But it is what it is. It's not my money. It is just fake play money that people are handing out.
Trey Turner is different because he's the best player of all time. Josh, do you have any thoughts on this?
Well, Trey Turner's not the best player of all time. Suzy,
Are
I
you
second your
trying to
motion
piss me
that
off?
guys are getting too big of contracts for too long of time. So I'm liking the Suzy gal, girl, lady. What do you want me to call you?
Not dear.
Just
I know,
Suzy.
not dear.
You could just call me Suzy. That's fine. Like
I'm a nickname person, so we're gonna figure something out. But
It's not.
these Jesus,
Until they
Arraez
sign
is
a
overrated
contract.
in my opinion. What?
I said until they sign a contract, let's not give him a nickname.
Okay. Well, everybody gets nicknames. I'll tell you guys Logan's when we get done with the show.
Perfect. I like it.
Because it's not show appropriate.
Did I hear you correctly? Did you just say Correa is overrated? Is that what you just said? I just want to make sure.
Yes.
I'm sure he will.
I do. I believe Correa is overrated. He's a very, very good player, one of the best players in the MLB. But he's not worth the money that he was getting offered on those first two contracts at the term.
Side note.
In my opinion.
Side note.
Yeah.
Do you also believe then that Trey Turner and Xander Bogaerts and Dansby Swanson, we'll throw Dansby in there, also don't deserve their contracts?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I'm pretty equal across the board. Okay. I think these stupid huge contracts for these stupid long terms are insane. For the fans, the teams, the owners, and the players, except for the players. The players, getting their money back, taking them home. But I think it's bad for the sport overall, and I think it's just bad in general. But that's another topic for another day. Arraez is a very, very good player. I need him to stay healthy, and I need him to be the number one player in the league for all the attention he receives day in and day out, and for the contract that he was wanting. He should be the best defensive player, the best offensive player. He should be a coach on the field.
Glove.
If I said day in and day out, year in and year out for that kind of money. I would expect the same thing from Bogaerts, Soto, Turner, anybody who gets a contract like that. They better be the number one player in their perspective, not just position, but in the entire league in every category across the board. If you're going to get paid that kind of money. That's just my personal opinion, but this is where I have a big problem with baseball, is that we don't have a floor, we don't have a cap. That's why we have these massive differences between the top of the league and the bottom of the league. This is my one big problem with baseball overall. But the deal's the deal. I mean, Scott Boras is I have problems with him as an agent anyways. I think he was just fishing to get paid, and that's why he played the game the way he played the game. When it came to negotiating contracts, he shouldn't be mad at the Mets for doing their research, and he's got a deal. He plays the game a certain way, and it's not always going to work out in his favor. And we saw the results: 6 years, $200 million.
Yeah.
So, to address Suzy's thing before I get on to Josh, Suzy, Trey Turner, I think deserved more money, honestly. So I'm a big AAV guy. I think AAV should be like, if you're not getting over 30 million and you're the best at your respective position, like, what the fuck are you doing? I don't care about like the long-term thing. Like, I'd rather play yet less years for a better I don't know. It's weird. Trey Turner deserved it. Xander, I think he got paid fairly, $25 million a year. So, I mean, the Padres are stupid for paying him till he's 41. I mean, that's the thing, is that as a team, like, I would rather play like the Dodgers. They do that right. They do shorter term contracts, but a higher AAV, so the players are still getting their money. And so I think the Padres are stupid for paying him till he's 41 years old. Dansby Swanson, the Cubs are just idiots for paying him $25 million. He did not deserve $25 million. He had an outlier season that made him, but whatever.
So do you think last season was just a fluke? I
don't think it's a fluke. I just think I think he he will be better. I just don't think he's worth $25 million a year, or how much it was, 200 million. I think it was 275 or something. No, not that much. Anyways, I can't remember. Josh, I mean, Correa played 136 games last year. I mean, he basically.
I thought he played more than that last year. I thought he played like 150 something games last year, didn't he?
No, 136, and then 21 he played 148, 58 and 20. He got injured in 19. I don't remember what that was for. Probably
that was some weird rib injury from a quote unquote massage.
Yeah.
Yes.
A massage.
I've had that kind of massage before. No.
Whoa,
kidding,
Logan. Whoa.
Kidding. So I think I mean I don't know. I think the problem Scott Boras had was like, hey, he was very transparent with the Mets with what he was doing and what was wrong with Correa, and then the Mets were like, oh yeah, we don't have a problem with that, and then they kind of pull a Boras on him, and they kind of beat him at his own game, and they're like, oh well, we don't like that. We're going to have to pay him till he's 42 years old, so let's renegotiate the contract to where either we don't have to pay him till he's 42 years old, or we don't have to pay him as much. And it'd be embarrassing for for Correa if he had to leave. And that's what everyone was saying, was that if the Mets pull out of this negotiation, that's going to really affect the Correa market. So that was my thing with it. Correa had 22 home runs last year and 64 RBIs, which who cares about RBIs when you're on a shitty team, right? So there's that. 366 on base percentage, which you will take every day of the year. So any other things on Correa before we move on?
Yeah, sorry. I'm building up feelings over here. My bad.
Oh, yeah,
Go for
ahead.
it.
Go.
Shelby is a Carlos Correa stan. Go.
No, I
Shelby,
do.
go.
I like Carlos Correa. I think he's defensively one of the best shortstops in the league. But I predicted when he went into free agency, I predicted 6 to 8 years, because last year, what did you say? He played 130 something games, but it was his sell year. He had to perform. He had no choice. He was trying to get his bag. But before that, he's been injury prone. It's been hard for him to stay healthy. Obviously, during his sell year, no, he's not going to sit out games if he has a tweaked back or something like that, because that becomes a red flag to a program. So I saw it happening. Now, I really thought the Mets would renegotiate him to 6-7 years or something like that. So I was surprised when the Mets pulled out. But I don't think it's about what I expected for Carlos to get.
Yeah. Carlos Correa, at least he got $200 million, which is, and you think about this wouldn't have been a problem if he hadn't switched agencies last year, because so he was still beholden to that one, to that agency. And so whatever contract he got, he would have to share with Boras and the agency before. Yep. And then he did that opt-out year thing with the Twins. So like him switching agents was stupid on a boneheaded move on his part. He would have gotten a lot of money last year. He would have gotten a depth. I mean, he could have gotten $35 million a year for 12 years or whatever he wanted, and no one would have blinked at that. So it kind of is on him. It's kind of on the Mets. I don't know. I think they're all a bunch of idiots. So thank God the Cardinals didn't get him. They're conservative with their money.
Bless it.
Whatever. Trey Mancini signed with the Cubs for 2 years, $14 million with a player option after the first year. Cubs are building their team. They're having a sneaky hot season. Eric Hosmer, Trey Mancini. Oh, really? You don't agree with it? I'll get to you in a second. But Suzuki is going to come back. He's going to be healthy. I mean, they got a couple of good guys. And I think this team could scare you. And especially with such the such a crappy division they're in right now. And listen, I'm a Cardinals fan, and I can say that they're in a crappy division. The Cardinals don't do anything to bolster up their team, even though they had glaring holes. The Brewers actually got worse, which is surprising. And the Pirates, they're getting better, but they're not. They're still years away from being, taken seriously. And the Reds, their ownership can suck a fucking dick. So, Suzy, since you had such a glaring issue with what I said, what is up?
Did they get better? Probably. Did they make interesting moves? I think that maybe that would sum up the Cubs offseason a little bit better than better. Do I love Trey Mancini with every fiber of my being? Yes. Do I tip my cap every minute of every hour for that catch that he made during Game 5? 1,000% yes. Do I think that he needs to be an everyday player to return to his original form when he was with the Orioles? 1,000%. Will he get that platooning? Why did you sign both Hosmer and Mancini? What's going on there? Okay.
Hosmer was free.
Well, yeah. So
and you have him for 3 years.
Basically, you're just hoping that Hosmer returns to form. Like there's a lot of reclamation projects on the Cubs. Do we agree with that? Do we not agree with that? Like what are we thinking?
I agree.
Because do you honestly believe that Cody fucking Bellinger is gonna get better? Like, stop it. Cody Bellinger is not gonna get better. Like the Dodgers were not sitting there with their thumbs up their asshole, like thinking that let's not try and fix Cody Bellinger. Okay, like what are we doing here? Cody Bellinger as a center fielder defensively, sure, go for it. Cody Bellinger at the plate, what are we doing? Stop it. No. Don't sign Cody Bellinger to a $17 million contract saying that we hope that he gets better. No. Like, that the Dodgers have been sitting there trying to fix his swing since 2019. Like, what are the Cubs going to do over there with Cody Bellinger at center field?
Change of scenery is a big thing. We have a player that we used to love called Matt Carpenter, my best friend. Love you, Matt. He was MVP level up until 2018. At the 2019, he got kind of bad. 2020, same thing, kind of a offsetter because 2020 was COVID and Cardinals got really screwed out of that. 2021 still bad. 2022 he comes back with the Yankees and he looks like Babe Ruth reincarnated. Comeback player of the year, even MVP talks were, and then he got injured. And so, a change of scenery is a big deal. And sometimes you just need a fresh pair of eyes. And Bellinger was talking to, I think, Joey Votto and a couple other guys, and he was trying to get better. So I think, he was also working with Matt Holliday. So I think Bellinger, like a change of scenery is a big deal sometimes. And sometimes it's just a mental thing that you need to just get out of. You need to change your comfort zone, get out of your area and just move on. Eric Hosmer, I think he's just I don't think he ever was really bad. I think the problem was that he was getting paid so much and he was just not the type of player that he was marketed as. He has a 334 on base percentage, 337 in 21. And he's never had a really bad year. He's been fair. He's just not, the greatest player of all time. And I think having Eric Hosmer there would just help bring in some of the newer players and just coach them. So I think when you get Eric Hosmer for free, obviously you take him. I'm surprised that it took. It was only the Cubs who went after him. So, I like the Cubs right now. They're obviously hedging a lot of their bets on what ifs. Bellinger, Hosmer, Mancini, a couple other guys. But they don't really have anything to lose. And if they still suck at the trade deadline, but Eric Hosmer has a comeback year and is like the greatest player of all time, guess what? They can trade him away because he's basically free, and they're going to get a whole bunch of prospects. They're going to get all the prospects, as Suzy says. And then Bellinger, same thing. If you get 6 months, or not 6 months, 3 months of 2 months of prime Bellinger, you would take that, especially if you're a playoff contender. So I think, and then Bellinger next year is going to be a free agent, and then he can re-sign with the Cubs. So I think there's a lot of what ifs, but I don't think it's more of a win year. It's more of a
Rebuilding year.
It's kind of like they're in a weird position. Like there is no losing scenario here. So I like this for them. Josh.
Okay.
Oh,
That's
Suzy.
Fair. No. I'm processing what you were saying, but I'm processing out loud apparently.
Okay then. Josh.
Well, unfortunately, I think you articulated that a little bit better than I could. I do see the Cubs being a little bit better this year. And you and I have kind of talked about this on the side, so I know we're fairly much on the same page with our thoughts. It really is it's a win-win situation for the Cubs. If Hosmer and Mancini and Bellinger and these young pieces that they have step up to the plate, and Jay Happ and Morel and continues to be on the up, the Cubs could be a sneaky good team this year. They're gonna wreck some teams' playoff hopes. They're not playing as many. Thank you. Sorry, I knew I said the wrong name, but you knew what I was talking about. Since I think with the schedule change, I think that's going to help the Cubs too. They're not going to have, and if the Brewers were, this would be more so true if the Brewers had not completely crippled themselves in the second half of the season last year and done something in the offseason. But they're not going to get stuck playing the Cardinals 18 times. They're going to get to go play the other bad teams over in the AL Central and a couple of the other bad teams out in the West. So I think the Cubs could possibly be the number 2 team in the NL Central this year at the end of the year. I could also see them finishing 4th. The parameters in where the Cubs finish here are very wide open for me. I can see them see them having a very good season, winning 87, 90 games maybe, depending on how things go, how their schedule lays out, how other teams' health is throughout the season when they play them. But I got to give the Cubs a big win here, and Logan knows this really well. I am not a Cubs fan by any means. I don't like the city of Chicago even. So it pains me to say this, but I think the Cubs have had a fantastic offseason, setting themselves up for future down the road. And they may be a thorn in the Cardinals' side this season, and they may be a thorn in some other teams' side this year. So I like what the Cubs have done.
I hope the Cardinals don't get to the playoffs, so that way Mozeliak has to actually spend money next year and not waste the talent he has. Shelby, what are your thoughts?
I don't really have a horse in the race here, and reason being, I've already picked my sneaky team of the year. So my sneaky team of the year is not going to be the Cubs, but I had an early lock in. So
Are we divulging that information of who your sneaky team is?
My sneaky team is the Arizona Diamondbacks, and I am very vocal about that. And I think Jake McCarthy is going to win Rookie of the Year. But anyways, no, I mean, like I don't think they'll win 90 games. I really don't think they have the pitching, and I think that's what's going to hurt them. I think they have a sneaky good offensive lineup and defensively, but I just don't see them having the pitching to win 85, 90 games. So that's pretty much my take on it. I also am I'm a Belly hater, so I don't see him doing very well.
Why do you hate Belly?
I can't. I'm an Astros fan. I mean, I can't like Cody Bellinger, but
is it Josh who said that he has a very punchable face? Not that he has a very punchable. Who said that someone else had a very punchable face earlier?
That
Josh
was me.
typically.
Yeah, no, but I think Cody Bellinger has a punchable face, and it's 1,000%. Just like his demeanor. I just don't. I'm a vibe person. I just get bad vibes from Cody Bellinger. I can't.
He looks fun to get high with. My Josh says everybody has a punchable face. So, yeah, it'll be interesting for the Cubs because, like I said, I don't think they have a real winning, like they have a no-lose situation in their hands. That's very rare, and they can see what happens and see where they're at. Anyways, so cool. Good job, Trey Mancini. You're gonna look stupid in blue though, so whatever.
No,
I
no,
don't see him as a Pins guy. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting seeing him Pins. In Pins, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Everybody
We love
looks horrible in Chicago Cub blue.
Oh God.
That's awesome.
We're on the 7th, Josh. Okay, and then our last
Hey,
story.
you're not making them be unbiased.
That's because they're Astros fan and they're new. I had to wean them into it. Andrew Mccutchen has signed he has returned to the Pittsburgh Pirates on a 1-year, $5 million contract. He is pulling in Albert Pujols.
Can I start
What
this
do we
one?
think of this? Yes, you can. What do you think?
I
Sugar
love
Bear?
this. I absolutely love McCutchen back in Pittsburgh with the Pirates. I love it because he did so much for that team and so much for that franchise the time he was there. He means so much for that city. If he's going to end his career, I love him going back there and being on a bad team. And hopefully he takes his abilities, his leadership, and his experience, and he helps with these young guys like Bryant Hayes and O'Neal Cruz and teaches them the way to play the game correctly and gives the Pirates a good foundation going forward so they can be competitive again. That's why I like this move. I don't think it ends his career on a high note, but I think it ends his career with his legacy carrying on in Pittsburgh.
I mean, how can you not like it? Literally, the entire city of Pittsburgh stands up on their feet at the press conference. Like, it's storybook. It is Albert Pujols, and I agree. O'Neal Cruz that's like my number one guy to watch this year. I think he's going to be phenomenal. Yeah. And then Brian Haynes, I think he still has a big upside. So I totally agree. I think it was perfect to bring Kutch back for a year.
I mean, he named his son Steele. I mean, he lives in Pittsburgh. Like, how are you not romantic about baseball? Like, this is why everyone's like, oh my God, baseball. It is magical. It is magical.
Billy Bink got romantic about baseball, and guess what? The A's suck. No. Should have signed with the Red Sox. No.
Darren is not here to defend himself, okay? Like, why are you... No.
Because I want the A's to be good, too. He knows that I come at this out of anger that the A's suck.
Anyways, look, the A's just need to move to Vegas and just be done with it, okay? However,
yes.
Going back to the Pirates. I love the fact that they have signed all of these older players that have that veteran experience that they can bring to the team. Like, I think G-Man Choi is going to bring all of the vibes to the Pirates. I freaking love G-Man Choi, and I may be a little bit biased because he's Korean, but I think he's like the biggest vibe person ever, and I so badly want that energy in the Pirates dugout. Like, that's 1,000%.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, it is an Albert Pujols move, and I think it's good for the Pirates. They're gonna sell tickets. They're gonna sell. I mean, they're gonna sell out the first opening day and the last game of the season. I think it's gonna. I do hate it because they still aren't spending a lot of money to try to actually build their team, which is sad. But they did get some, good guys this season. So I'm interested to see this. I think they're going to go from being a shitty team to a mediocre team. So that's one step up, guys. Next year, we're going to be subpar. It's cool to see Andrew Mccutchen. I don't know if he's going to retire, though. I don't know. He is 36 years old. I guess, time is winding down. He's still got a couple seasons before he hits 700 home runs, so I'm not sure. Even 500 home runs, I think. But, he could have a 250 home run season. We could have that happen. But anyways, I don't really have much to say on this. I think it's just on an emotional aspect. It's cool to see. Like Suzy said, how can you not get romantic about baseball? Hopefully they don't trade him in the middle of the season. I kind of want that to happen just because it would be hilarious, but still.
No way. No way.
It'd be funny. Seeing him and Brian Reynolds play with each other for the first time would be interesting. So, but yeah, do we have anything else we want to talk about? Just chit chat?
Actually, I do.
Okay.
My favorite thing this week, Spencer Strider, number 99. How can we not love it?
I saw that.
How can we not love that?
He better cut his hair that way too, though.
No, you got to go all out. You got to go all out. I'm here for it, man. It's perfect. And then he comes with the Vin Scully, starts broadcasting, and it sounds great. I think Suzy, what'd you say on our show?
I think the days that he's not pitching, he needs to be in the announcing booth. He needs to announce the players, maybe do an inning of commentary. But if he doesn't step out on the mound his first start with the glasses, I'm going to be highly disappointed in Spencer Strider. Highly disappointed.
So much potential for this. There's so much potential.
Well, I mean, his walk-up song has to be Wild Thing.
Got to.
I mean, it has to be. Like, it honestly, like, forget the haircut. That has to be the thing from now on is Wild Thing.
And you know what makes it even better is like the last time we saw Strider on the bump, he was like launching pickoff throws into the outfield during the playoffs, right? So it's perfect. Like, why can you not?
Oh gosh, Spencer Strider. He should have won Rookie of the Year. Does anybody have? Josh, do you have any thoughts on that? Besides,
I want the haircut. I want the earring. I want the glasses. I want him to come out on his first appearance fully dressed in costume, even with you walk out with like the leather jacket on. I want the whole 9 yards. I think it would be fantastic. But he's going to be a talent to watch for years to come.
That would be magical. I would love that.
I like Spencer Strider. Speaking of the Major League, I heard a really interesting story about how the Cleveland Indians got their name. Did you know that they signed the first two Native Americans back in like 1890 or whatever? And so one of the other players, they say, "What are we called now? Are we called now the Cleveland Indians?" Because at the time they were called the Cleveland Spiders, and so they changed their name because they had two Indians. And so, and like Chief Wahoo, like, was apparently because they were wanting to cheer. They were cheering. And so I was like, I heard all that stuff. I was like, oh yeah, that's really cool. And so hopefully that's all real because I got it off of YouTube and that's very reliable.
It's on the internet, so it has to be real, right? It has to be true.
Yeah, right. But thank you guys for coming on. We are done. We're donezo. We are glad to hear that you guys are coming over Variety Sports, doing Back That Astros Up. I'm looking forward to your first episode. If you haven't, go ahead and check out their channel, Bourbon and Baseball. Suzy, Shelby, do you guys want to say anything before we kick the bucket?
We just appreciate all of our listeners. Rate, subscribe, like, all of that fun stuff. You can find all of our social media links, somewhere, I assume. Bourbon and B-Ball on Instagram. On Twitter. Just kidding. Bourbon in B-Ball on Twitter. Bourbon and Baseball Pod on Instagram. And you guys are actually, Variety Sports Network is actually going to do all of the things for Back That Astros Up. So that takes one more thing off of my plate, and that is delightful. We like that. So, and
we're gonna try to do reacting to World Series with Suzy. So we're getting that.
Yeah. Oh, I got that camera, by the way, Logan. Thank you so much for sending that. I appreciate that.
Worried.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I had mentioned that.
Oh, it's fine.
I was going to, and then I saw something shiny and forgot. So
It's totally fine. I was actually going to get off of here and make sure that it actually got to you because I forgot all about it.
gotcha.
By the way, the player's name. Oh no, did I seriously?
You lost it again, didn't you?
I had it and I was ready to pull it up, and then I accidentally. Hold on, wait.
That's amazing.
Munetaka Murakami.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Japanese player. He just broke the single season home run record.
Yes.
22 years old for Japanese. If you have not gone to betus.com and put money on the Japanese to win, what are you doing? You're
Putting money on the Dominican to win.
I hope Rafael Devers hits 15 home runs in 4 games, whatever they got to play.
Oh gosh, I hope he plays third base and then he misses like a whole bunch of balls, and then the Red Sox are like, "Fuck, we just signed him." Josh, do you have any words of wisdom to say before we go?
No, I got to save those for tonight's show. So I only have so many in a day. But I am going to plug our other shows. So make sure you join us on Wednesdays for Birds at Bush. That's our Cardinals exclusive show. Logan will be there from time to time. It'll be myself and Jordan Maroney talking all St. Louis Cardinals baseball. Obviously, join us on future episodes of Seventh Inning Stretch. Those are kind of all the time, everywhere, like Mondays, Fridays, Thursdays, Sundays, whenever we can fit them in or whenever we have special things going on. I'm sorry, my daughter's interrupting me right now.
Hi, daughter.
How dare you be a dad?
She wanted me to peel her orange. And then check out the Blues Notes if you're a Hockey's fan. That's our St. Louis Blues exclusive hockey show. We're on Sunday nights, usually between 8 and 8:30. If you're a hockey person, come check us out. We don't just talk primarily about Blues, but we cover other topics going on in the NHL as well.
Good job.
Look at that distinguished gentleman. That sound was like playing the entire time you pulled that out, and I refrained the entire time that Josh was talking. You should be very proud that I waited as long as I did to.
I am very proud.
You should be.
Also, I'm. No, it's not on here. Dang it! I was gonna get my laugh track out, but I forgot about it. Anyways, so yeah, I'm Logan Stone. Hopefully, we start being more consistent. Josh Lewis will be back. I'm sure. At Bourbon and Baseball will be back on. I'm sure to talk some Astros stuff. We'll be doing preseason stuff, and I say we as in I'll be a part of it. I'm doing stuff. I'm busy, man. Okay, I got these fine podcasters on, and that's about as far as I can go. Anyways, likes, comment, subscribe to everything all at once, everything everywhere all at once. Good movie. Okay, bye, Felicia's. Oh no, I forgot. Say it. Josh, say something funny.
It's what your line you're supposed to say. Live long and watch some damn baseball.
Oh yeah, that's right. I don't have an outro anymore. Somebody came in and started crapping on things.
Nope.
Hey everybody, this is Brandon, CEO of the Variety Sports Network. I just want to say a quick thank you for watching one of the shows here on the Variety Sports Network with tons of other shows and content that's available all over the place. Right here at the Variety Sports Network, from Variety Sports Network to VSN Collegiate to VSN Football, with more to come soon.